Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to another Live with Blitsy. We are excited because today we are going to be talking about the awesome Brutus Monroe stamps. And before we dive into it, let me
Inks.
inks. Clarity stamps and Brutus Monroe inks. The inks are so cool because not only can you watercolor them, but when they're dry, they're permanent. So a very unique ink for sure. And then Katie mentioned we had the stamps from Claritystamp that we're pairing with them. So lots of fun today on Live.
Definitely, and I know we'll get all into the details, but the basis of this ink is it's like one ink to do everything, rather than having like 4 different types of inks to reach for on your desk. So you're gonna love the Brutus Monroe inks, and then of course we had to pick out some really cool stamps. But Thursday is my favorite day because we have a big show for you that just highlights some of our favorite products. So thanks guys for joining us. We have Emily who is actually typing on the chat, and we'll put links to everything that you see, and we'll help relay questions to us. So make sure you are participating, let us know where you're from, and share on your pages. But Emily, who do we have here with us today?
Hey guys, good morning. It looks like people are just starting to join in. I'm about to share it in our Blitsy Attic Secret Society group so that those people can hop over. If you're not in that group, let us know and we will get you the link and you can request to join. But I'm excited to share this product with you guys because we sold it at Black Friday, and since then a lot of people have been waiting for us to get it back. So like Megan said, it's really an all-purpose ink, so excited to show it to you.
Hi guys, good morning.
Awesome, so we're gonna start over here, and are you focusing on the Brutus Monroe inks?
Yes, a little bit of both. So I'm gonna start with the Clarity stamps I wanted to show you because these are super unique and awesome. I haven't seen anything like these before. These ones, there's actually a couple different ones, but these are the word chain stamps, and these are really cool because they're actually all connected. And 2 things you can do with these. You can either leave them all together and leave them as the chain, or you can, there's little pieces in between them and you can go ahead and cut those. So this one is already cut because I used it for a project that you will see, but the other ones you can see are
Chain together.
So this one says my art journal. So this my art journal, and then there's create and diary, and you can use them separately or you can leave them all together and use them as one stamp. You can kind of see they're connected by that little piece right there, and you can just cut them and use them separately, or you can just leave them together. So I thought that was really cool.
I think I would definitely cut them up because you can kind of mix and match, like my art journal, my art diary, my diary, you know, you can totally play with them however you want.
Yeah, but I thought these were really cool.
This is really cool.
And then some say dream, remember, imagine, inspire. And there's a birthday one, there's your birthday special, celebrate. So you can kind of see that some of them are made for you to cut and move them around, and you can get a lot out of these stamps. And then there's other ones too, and then Megan and Claudia will also show you a couple other of the stamps. And then these ones, I love a good sentiment stamp. These ones have such cute script writing, and I love that they have the lines next to them. And then this one, I thought, this has another stamp in here that you'll see that I'm using for a project. But these ones would pair super good with the best wishes, and then there's these dandelions. So I paired these 2 together, and I actually made a card with them. And then I used heat embossing, so you can kind of see how they would go together really nicely.
I love this because I wish I could write like that.
I know,
so
I
instead
know.
you just use a stamp and it looks like you did.
Yeah, I love this script on these stamps, so I thought those were really pretty. So those were the stamps, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you the Brutus Monroe ink pads. Okay. So these come in 4 a pack. Do they come in bigger sizes or just the minis? Yeah, just the minis. Just the minis. So they would come in packs of 4. And I love these cute little sizes because these come super small and you can travel around with them, and they're easy to use on your desktop. So I'm going to show you kind of two techniques with these inks. So the first thing, you can actually use these with watercolor. So after you stamp with them, I have my little stamp right here. Just ink up your stamp. and then you're gonna wanna heat set it.
The
A little
heat
bit.
setting it makes it permanent, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, once it's dry, it becomes permanent, so heat setting it will kind of speed up the process.
Okay, great.
So just give it a little. Okay, so
Michelle
then,
said hi to Molly. She saw
Molly, yes.
she saw the puppy in the background.
okay, so once that's dry, it is now permanent, so you can watercolor on top of it, and it won't blend or bleed or anything. So that was really cool about these inks, because a lot of inks, you try to watercolor over them, and they blend together, and that's not a good effect. So you can see I'm going to put watercolor over it, and it's not bleeding at all. So you can get a lot out of these inks. You can watercolor them, and you can
You know
also
what's
stamp
really
with them.
cool about these inks, though? You
What?
can actually, I see you're using your watercolors, but even though this is a permanent ink, you can also watercolor
Yes, that's
with the
next.
ink.
Yes,
Okay, cool.
that's next.
She's got it.
So yeah, you can
I'm just
watercolor with
super
them.
excited about that.
And these also, like Katie said, you can actually use these as a watercolor. So you can just put it on your acrylic block or your craft sheet, put some on your mat.
Ooh, look at the vibrancy
I
of
know.
that color.
I know, this one's really pretty. And you can actually use these as a watercolor. How cool is that? And then once this is dried, that will be permanent as well. So that was
Very
really cool. So that is the one technique.
Normally you'd be grabbing for 2 different inks to
Yeah.
do both of those effects.
Yeah.
So you've just demonstrated with one set you can do permanent and watercolor. That,
Yeah, you can
that
do
is,
your
like,
normal stamping.
Amazing.
I know, you can, this is actually 3 different things. You could do your normal stamping, you can watercolor on top of it, and you can use them as watercolors.
Very cool. And I think Christopher from Brutus Monroe might be in the chat. I haven't checked yet, but he was going to try and join us. So he might be able to answer questions too, guys, if
Awesome.
you have any, because he is Mr. Brutus Monroe.
Okay, so before we go to the next technique, should we see if there's any questions?
Yeah,
so
let's check
far?
in with Emily and see if we've missed any questions or what's happening.
It sounds like we have a lot of people. Lori is one of them. Kara also has them. These are their favorite inks because they truly are all-purpose and they are just so vibrant when they're on the pages. Make sure that you are, I'm going to be putting the links in the chat, and then when the broadcast is over, I'm also going to be adding them to the description of the video. So if you are interested in a certain product, let me know and I'll get the link in there. And if you miss it, just check back once the broadcast is over and you should be able to find them in the description of the video. And Christopher is here. He just let us know. Hi, Christopher.
Yeah, so I just saw in the chat, Christopher is
Hello.
here. So feel free, Chris, to put any extra information you want about these inks in the chat because I know you live and breathe this stuff. This is your baby, so feel free to chime in. But we're going to show another technique, right?
Yeah, and another thing before we go forward, I wanted to show you this thing because I actually love how this turned out. This was watercoloring over the stamped image after it was already dry.
I
love
on
this.
your Instagram.
Yeah, I had to put
yesterday.
this everywhere because I love how it turned out.
So, and I just wanted to point out too, guys, first of all, if you're not following Blitsy on Instagram, you should because we're excited about the new stories feature and you'll get to see a lot of behind the scenes. We're at Blitsy Crafts on Instagram. And Megan also does a lot of stuff on hers, which is Megan XO27, right?
Yes, MEGANNXO27.
Yeah, so that one I think I saw on your Instagram.
Yeah, that was on my story
right?
yesterday.
So just putting a little Instagram plug there if you
Yeah.
want some behind the scenes. But okay, go ahead.
So the next technique I'm going to show you, these are also good for blending. So I have some watercolor paper. If you want to know, that was what I was working on right here. And so if you use a little sponge tool or a dauber, you can actually blend with these, and they blend really smoothly together. And get some blue.
I do see Christopher putting a couple of comments about some more features of these inks, and he is setting us up because I think Megan, the original, is going to, Megan Senior
Yes.
is going to be showing us even more techniques after this with
Yeah,
their
she has a couple
truly
too.
all-purpose inks.
Yeah, there's really a lot you can get out of all these inks. So as you can see, these blend really nicely. So can get a lot of different color combinations too if you blend these.
Very cool.
So yeah, lots of things that you can do with these inks. So those are just a couple that I showed you. So we're gonna go and take it over to Megan, and she's gonna show you a couple more techniques.
I love it. First, let's check in with Emily, see if there's any special requests also. If you want to see anything with these inks, let us know. And Emily, anyone following us on Instagram? Anyone you recognize?
I'm sure that Lori is definitely following us on Instagram. I'm sure we've got some fans here. I did post in our story earlier about asking people to hop over and watch us. So make sure that you are watching our story for those behind the scenes. And if you noticed Molly in the shot earlier, I will be sure to include plenty of cute pictures of dogs.
Yeah, Molly is now with Megan and I over here. Let's give a quick shout to Molly. Molly, say hi to Facebook.
Not today, Mom.
Yeah,
Not today.
she is actually very camera shy.
And a mom. And she's up.
She's always been camera shy. She does not like the camera on her. She's like, no selfie queen there.
Poor Molly. She's like, I did not do my hair this morning. Kid you not. Thanks.
She's hiding.
She's hiding.
All right, so
yes.
what's up next?
Okay, so Christopher obviously mentioned it's permanent on other surfaces. So like Katie mentioned, he did kind of set us up for the next demo here. I'm going to show you how you can use the inks on glass. And once again, when it's dry, it's going to be permanent. So I just grabbed my little mason jar here, and this is a Bow Bunny adhesive stencil. You could obviously use any stencil. It helps and makes it a little bit easier if you use the adhesive ones, because you can see obviously my surface is curved here. So with a sticky back adhesive or sticky back stencil, it's gonna really adhere to that glass and not leave any gaps. So this is just a stencil. I'm gonna take my ink here in that pretty cornflower color, my little dauber. I'm gonna dab a little ink on there, and then I'm just gonna kind of dab in my stencil.
For those of us just joining, what we're showing is the Brutus Monroe chalk inks, which are truly all-purpose inks available at Blitsy today. So check out the comments for the links to the sale.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing that you can use the same ink not only to kind of stamp your main image, but then turn around and use the same ink to watercolor. How cool is that, right?
That's awesome.
Right? It's like, Christopher, I don't even know how that works,
And then
but I'm amazed.
to have it be permanent on so many different surfaces. What other surfaces?
You can use it on fabric, which I'm going to show you after this. And then I believe Christopher also mentioned you can use it on wood. And I think metal, too.
And then, of course, the glass, what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so the fact that, like, this little ink is very mighty, right? It's a little tiny ink case, but all of the properties of this ink are super cool.
Yeah, and you know what? These are actually the same size as the Tim Holtz mini distress inks.
Yeah.
So if you have the holder for those inks, these will fit into it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you can store them all nice and neat. I don't know if Megan mentioned this, but they come in sets of 4. And I think right now up on the site we have, I think it's like, the season? So it's spring, summer, fall, and winter maybe? Correct me if I'm wrong, Emily, but I think that's what we have on the site, which is, kind of nice, especially as we're in summer, but going to be transitioning scarily soon to fall. Okay, so now I've stenciled in with my inks, and I'm just going to peel back my stencil ever so gently here.
And then once dry, this is going to be permanent.
Yes.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Isn't that
Look
fun?
at that.
And I already did a little votive here with some feathers. And
Ooh, I like this color.
Isn't that fun? So just think of all the fun you could have, making your own home decor with these inks. If you're getting married, always go to weddings. You can always create custom votives or anything custom on glass at your wedding with these inks. And speaking of wedding, I'm going to show you how to use these inks on fabric, making a little special kind of thank you gift for your wedding guests.
Awesome.
So,
Let's see if there's any questions
Yeah.
on the glass technique really
Sure.
quick.
There actually is one really good question. Being as these inks are permanent, will they wash off the stencil? Obviously, is it because they're permanent once they're dry? So as long as you just take care to wash it off quickly?
That's a good
That is
question.
a
I'm
very
going to
good
hand it
question.
off to get washed right now, and
Yeah.
we'll show you in a minute if it comes off.
Yeah, the anticipation. It's still kind of wet, so we'll see. And Christopher, if you know the answer to this, maybe just chime in. Otherwise, we're doing our own.
I'm going to guess Megan didn't clean the feather stencil, so she doesn't know the answer.
Let me just do a quick pan down
Yeah.
here. You will see that it is not clean.
Which is par for the course around here.
Because I imagine it's permanent, so you don't have to worry about it,
It
right?
won't
Then
come off on the next one.
Exactly. So if you get it wet, no big deal. It's not going anywhere. So
We'll let you know
We'll let
though
you
in
know.
a minute. I passed it off, so we'll see what happens.
yes. Okay. So moving right along to using these inks on fabric. So I'm gonna pair once again my pretty cornflower color here along with that same script stamp, the Clarity stamp that Megan used, except I'm using the With Love stamp. And I know you mentioned that you love this font. That's why I was like, I
do.
have to
I
use
love this font.
Yeah, it's a very on-trend script font that you can use. And like I said, I saw this and I thought, ooh, I'm gonna do a little kind of favor bag for a wedding or any sort of party. So
I love that everything you're showing is not paper or like card making,
Right.
because there's so much versatility with both the stamps
Yes.
and the inks
That's
outside
right.
of just that.
that's right. And I I'm obsessed with this font. I don't know. It's just really pretty. And like Megan mentioned, I like that it has the line detail there where it's like starts with a line, then it's the word, then it ends with a line. So it fits perfectly on my little bag here. So I have that nice and inked, and then I'm gonna put it on my bag, and I'm gonna pull
I'm
it
seriously in love.
with love.
Yeah, with love.
Give it a
I'm
nice
in love
little
with love.
press.
I'm in love with this stamp.
I'm in love with love. And then lift up, and we have it nice and permanent on our fabric. And then to top it off, this obviously has drawstrings. You could obviously just tighten them, put your little trinket, treat, whatever you want in there. Or you can do like I did, and I actually cut out the strings, and I created my own little tassels out of some baker's twine.
See, you're always just taking it one step further.
Yeah, I was like, forget that. We're cutting that, and we're gonna do our own. All I did was cut a long strip of baker's twine. This is, I think, maybe like 18 inches. And then I just used my fingers to create a tassel. I just wrapped it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And then I took the end of that string, folded my little wrapping here in half, tie a little knot, and then I'm gonna cut my little loops to create my my tassel.
You don't need a tassel maker tool. You just do it with your
Just
hands.
use your fingers. Unless you want to create a large tassel,
Yeah,
then
then you need
the
it.
tassel maker is nice. So, okay, so I just tied a knot there, and then I'm gonna flip this all down, and then I'm gonna cut my loops. Just trim my loops there. Get all of them trimmed, and
Give
then
it a little haircut.
give it a little haircut, my favorite part. Trim, 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 trim it down. And then I'll cut another piece of my twine. And then I'll tie it around the top portion of it. And this, you would repeat this process for the other tassel to get the other side of it. And then I'm just gonna tie a little knot, maybe. This is where like all the struggles are real, trying to tie your tassel. But yeah, obviously, like I said, you can use this on other fabrics. I'm going to show you how I paired it with a stencil, which is super fun, especially if you are into mixed media. You can incorporate this into your fabrics and into your projects, which is always nice to kind of add extra textures to your mixed media projects. So, all right, so we have our little tassel. If I cut this off, I would just gather it, wrap it around my little bag a couple of times, and then tie a knot, and then you're left with your little festive bag that you stamped with ink, and it's permanent. So super fun.
Cute. I love, love, love that.
And then this was the bag that I paired with a stencil, and I just laid my stencil right on top of my bag, used my my dauber once again to get into the little nooks and crannies, and now I have a really fun stencil bag that, once again, the ink is permanent.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So now we've seen permanent on paper.
Yep.
We've seen watercoloring with your watercolors over that ink. We've seen watercoloring with the Brutus Monroe inks.
Yeah.
And we've seen it on glass and on fabric, and
And on
it'll be
fabric.
permanent on both of those.
Yeah. So awesome.
Wow.
I know,
Okay.
and all the colors are super fun too. So there's, I'm sure, a color for any project that you want to work on. And I know Claudia, she is using, because I know we've been talking about the Claritystamp products. She is using, I believe, some of the Claritystamps and the stencils in her demo. So I think we should check on her project.
Yeah, before we do that, I think Emily has an answer for us
Oh,
on
yes.
the stencils at
Yes.
this place.
So the results are in, and just washing it off did not work for us. But Christopher let us know he, of course, has thought of everything, and he has his very own stamp cleaner, which, according to him, hopefully coming soon to Blitsy, hopefully. But people have also suggested squeaky clean. So there are a couple products out there that will help you get the ink out of your stamps and stencils. And then another question, someone asked if the ink was permanent on glass through the dishwasher, and Christopher suggested heat setting for dishwasher safety. We generally recommend anything that you do on glass just for extra precaution, hand wash delicately. So yeah.
Very cool. Now I'm over here with Claudia, and actually Lori B in the comments set us up perfectly because she said for paper crafters and stampers, she recommends the detail ink hands down, that it is a must-have. So we're actually going to show that up next. And I don't know exactly what's planned, but that's part of it.
Yes, so I'm using the detail ink, and I actually, while we're on the topic of things that are not paper, I actually stamped this little wooden tag.
Cute.
And then I just kind of smudged it with some of the other the mini chalk inks. But I'll just show you how.
Is this another one of the Clarity stamps?
It is.
It's beautiful.
It's a set that's got these really pretty flowers, and actually this set comes with stencils and what else? It's got the stamps and some. Here, I'm sorry. Let me bring it up. It's got the stamps, and it's got a square stencil that has some of the vases, and then it's got the actual shapes as well. So this set comes with the flowers and the vases.
Very cool.
But just so that you
I
can
don't think
see.
I've ever seen that before, the stamp and stencil sets. That's
yeah.
cool.
And
Smart.
so this is the detail ink, and just so that you can see how well it stamps on wood. So I'm just sometimes you can see how pretty that
Look
is.
how detailed
Yes.
the detail ink gets.
Yes, and so then you can go in and you can leave it like this. I like it like that,
I do
natural
too.
without anything. But once it's dry, that's permanent and that's not gonna go anywhere. Or you can kind of like smudge some colors on there if you'd like. So that's a really cool technique on wood. So I just thought while we were on the topic of stuff that was not paper, that's one way that you can use it as well.
Very cool, but you know we're going to bring it back to paper, right?
Yep, we're bringing it right back to paper right now.
Can't
So-
help ourselves.
Yep, so this card I made with the same stamp. So I'm just going to show you how well this ink works on paper, the detail ink.
Yeah, I just want to show that these right next to each other though, the same stamp.
Yes,
This is the one on wood, and then that's colored in on the card.
and that's what's great is that you can use it on a bunch of different surfaces. Okay, so this is just on some paper. Just gonna stamp. So you can see how beautiful that looks. And then this is great. You can use it with alcohol markers. So I just have an alcohol marker here that I'm going to use. Actually, let me use this one to color in some of the flowers. And you can see how well it works with alcohol markers. It still stays very crisp and clear and detailed. So it's great if you want to use, I'm coloring them solid just because it's a smaller flower, but if you want to, you can. You can blend colors together, which is what I did here. You can see that I kind of used the darker shade in the middle there and then blended it out, and you can see that it did not affect the image at all. So it's really great to use with your alcohol markers.
Awesome for coloring.
Yeah, so not just your water-based markers, but also your alcohol inks as well.
Love it. I do see a couple of questions. Let me shoot it over to Emily so she
Okay.
can make sure that we're not missing any. But Emily, what's happening on the chat?
Yeah, a couple of questions. First, to clarify, apparently the Brutus Monroe cleaner is called Squeaky Clean. That's my bad. They're not two different things. And hopefully, we do not currently carry it at Blitsy, but hopefully the next time we sell his awesome products, it will be part of the sale. Couple of questions. I am trying to look up the little wood pendants you have. I'm not sure exactly what they would be under. Okay. Yeah, I'll look it up and see if I can find those, and if not, after the broadcast, we'll try and get those to you. Couple of questions. Donna wants to know if you could use the inks to paint a wood box, which I think you could, right? Technically, yeah, you could. You would
You would probably want to use like a dauber or something that's gonna hold. Or
yeah,
you could,
or add water.
or you
to
could
it.
add water, yeah, and do a more subtle kind of wash with it. So yeah,
Yeah, and then for, I think it was Maureen that asked about the wood tags and if we sell these. Search wood tags on Blitsy.com and you'll be shocked at
Yes,
how many
and how
things
many
come
we
up.
have, yeah.
We'll try and find this exact one for you, but we have so many products. All you have to do is a quick search really for anything you're looking for, and things will pop up that you'll be like,
Yeah.
whoa. So check it out, wood tags.
thousands and thousands of SKUs. So I'm just gonna use this darker shade here just to show you how you can blend out your flower, and it stays crisp and clean. So for all of you that like to do alcohol marker work, that's the final technique of that. And I have one more technique here, which is that the Clarity, so this kind of brings it all together. The Clarity stamps, they make stencils. They sell stencils just on their own. And they work really well with any kind of gel plate, which I'm going to show you right now. And I actually use the Brutus Monroe inks with the stencil.
It looks like you painted
Right,
that.
so it's
That's really
I'm going to
cool.
show you how I did that. So, let's see. So you have just, gel. There's several different manufacturers of gel plates, but you're just going to lay down your stencil on top of it in any kind of arrangement that you want. And then I'm just using the inks straight from the little mini ink pads, and you're just going to dab.
I really think that's my favorite color. I
It
love
is,
it.
it's
That's
really,
what,
really
That's what
pretty.
Megan used for the feathers, I think. And it's called Oz. That's Oz.
It's really pretty.
What color is that called?
This one is the cornflower. And then this one's called Wagon.
I get it, like Red Wagon.
And let's use some phone book. This one is phone book.
While you're filling those in, I saw that Lori asked if Emily can post the links to all of our creative team Instagrams. I think that's a great idea. And again, I mentioned ours is at Blitsy Crafts. Megan is MEGANNXO27. Partly Claudia Crafts is
Yes.
Claudia. I'm at Katie Weed, KatyWeade. And then Emily, I don't know if you want to give yours or not. I'll let her decide that or not. But I have been starting to post a lot of Blitsy stuff on mine. I know Claudia does a lot of craft projects on hers, and Megan is very active on hers. But we'll post all of our creative team ones later today for you guys too. So good suggestion, Lori.
Okay, so now that I've kind of stamped all over my stencil, then you're just gonna peel it up, and you're left with this really cool pattern. So then all you have to do is take your paper.
And there's a gel plate on here?
Yes, so
Okay.
there's a gel plate on here. It's on an acrylic block. So then you're just gonna take your paper and you're gonna place it, and then you just kind of want to burnish it a little bit to get that ink to transfer to the paper. And then when you peel it up, you see that you have this really cool kind of abstract print. And there's also a little bit of ink left on the gel plate, so if you want to rotate your paper and you can get another impression, that's going to just add more dimension and more color to your print. So you can see how.
Is Carissa here? I feel like this is like
Yeah.
right up her alley. That she would
Yeah,
do something
it's
like
it's
this.
really beautiful. It's obviously great for a card background if you want to add a sentiment, but it's also really beautiful just as like wall art, or you can frame it, put it anywhere.
Super cool. Is that, so did you just do the same exact thing with this?
I did the same exact thing. I have the stencil I used. For that one, I just used this stencil, and I did the same thing. I inked it, I put the paper down, and then I just let it do what it's gonna do. Like there were some, they're called ghosted images of some of the ink that I pulled up, and I just kept rotating my paper, and it makes this really cool print. It looks like a printmaker's
Yeah,
pattern.
that is really cool. I love it.
So yeah.
Let's check with Emily. Do you guys have any questions on this technique that Claudia just showed? It's awesome.
Somebody asked about heat setting on fabric. This is a really cool technique. I love combining it with the gel play. It's totally, I don't think Carissa is here, but totally up her alley. Is she? Yep. Yes, oh she is. She is. Hi Carissa. On the Instagram, I will make a blog post that has all of our creative team, all of the folks that you see on camera here. I will include mine. It just involves my very long, complicated last name. So look for that post, and it'll be up on our blog soon.
I think that's it
I
for
know.
today.
Isn't it like so amazing how these tiny little inks can do so many things?
Yeah, if you need an all-purpose ink, the Brutus Monroe chalk inks, they're by far the way that you
Right?
should go. So check them out, and then of course all the Claritystamp
Right?
stuff that we showed.
I feel like it's a great ink, especially for people that are just getting into card making, because you're like, I don't want to get 17 different kinds of inks, but I want to start. Like, where do I start? I feel like this is a great starter ink, and obviously, if you already have all those inks, it's also a great ink to have in your stash anyway because of all the things it can do. So
Yeah, and I especially love the bags you did.
Right,
I think
how
on
fun.
fabric, on glass. It's
yeah.
really awesome. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Thanks, Christopher, for being
Yes, thanks,
here.
Christopher.
And for everybody else, have a great day. We will see you guys soon.
Bye.